morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is. It's May. I know that it's May. It's May the 22nd, 2024, and today the topic is 212. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys had a wonderful Tuesday. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was good overall. Tuesday highlights. Main things was did the juice, filmed a future episode of the GSL talk show, and then I ended up having therapy yesterday, which was a nice little treat because hubby decided to join me for therapy and whatnot. So that was nice to have both of us in the session and things of that nature. I'm debating about how I'm going to move forward when it comes to therapy. So we're going to see what the Lord do. But it was nice to have him involved and all that good stuff. Yep, those were the main highlights, man. Yesterday, I guess I was in the mood for some sushi or whatever. So I got some sushi for the family. And yeah, those were the main highlights, man, of yesterday. So today, as you guys can see, today's topic is called 212. Most likely it's because your girl woke up at 212. And yeah, I've been up for a while, pretty much ever since then. But I know I'm recording here at 8 something. But yeah, man, that just was a lot of things on my heart and mind. I was just thinking about future things, thinking about this summer, things I would love to do with the old Happy Says crew and things like that. And yeah, just I guess taking some time to just bask in the fact that, I know that things are going to be changing soon. And so it's like with things being the current way they are, just trying to I guess, bask in what it currently is, and then I guess prepare for what is to be. A lot of, again, changes are going to come with NJ getting into school. So that's a whole thing by itself. And then, like I told you guys yesterday, I'm thinking about different activities and whatnot that he could possibly participate in. But at the same time, too, I know as I was reflecting today, I was like, I don't want to force him to do anything either. I want him to, want to do whatever activities that they are. So that's another thing as well. So we'll see. We'll see what the Lord will do. But yeah, all of that type of stuff was on my heart and mind this morning. But ultimately, when I came back to think about, getting on up and doing the juice and things of that nature, I got led 12. Now, it was interesting because when I was looking into just verses, you guys know what I usually do. I just Google, whatever time I wake up and with the word Bible, and it usually pops up some verses or whatnot. And so the first few verses was resonating. But then I came to 1 Timothy 2:12, and I was like, ooh. And those that may know, then you may know that that is the verse that's referencing women teaching and things of that nature, and how I guess Paul does not permit women to teach. And I mean, listen, I'm not trying to go against nothing that the Bible says. So I don't know who's listening to the sound of my voice. If you're a man and you feel some way that you receiving something from me, by all means, log off, scroll, whatever you need to do, right? I guess again, but then again, this ain't no church. So I feel like there's a difference, but hey, whatever, I'm not trying to assert my authority or whatever the case may be. But it was interesting because as I came across, it almost deterred me from using 212. But the first few verses, the more I just kind of reflected on them and read them over and over, I just was like, you know what? Go with what the Lord was giving me about 212. And it was interesting because I was going to go ahead and add, 1 Timothy for you guys to go deeper about on your own. But I ended up putting 2 Timothy 2:12, and that verse was resonating with me. So I was like, okay, maybe the Lord want me to look at this one instead of the other one. But either way, you guys can go and do your own studies and deep dives about whether you guys, want to agree with what the Bible say about women in leadership, is specifically with the church and things of that nature. I mean, I got my little humble opinions or whatever the case may be. My understanding is that it's specifically talking about churches. But it's so interesting because again, people want to debate back and forth, like, ooh, saying women in leadership, and then they use these things to negate the Bible because then they're like, ooh, women, the Bible is the patriarchy, and all the things that people say, and I'm like, I'm okay with, again, whatever the Bible's saying, so that's one thing. Two, again, I'm okay with what it's saying about specifically what church leadership should look like. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And so that's just me, in my humble opinion. Now, again, it's very clear and stuff like that. But at the same time, if people want to debate and, try to see if it says something else or means something else, by all means, everybody can do that. People have done that over the years. So to each their own, I guess, in that regard. But anyway, I say all that to say that I decided to go ahead and go forth with 2:12 as the Lord had gave me and whatnot. And so let me share these verses with you guys that I came across this morning. So the first one was Ruth 2:12, and it said, "The Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust." So, yeah, I mean, this can be good news, bad news, depending on what kind of, work you've been doing. But I feel like overall, this verse is pretty much a good news verse. If I'm not mistaken, this is something that Naomi was saying to Ruth. If not, I got to go back and read the whole thing. But I just read the verse itself this morning, and it's just pretty much saying, hey, a full reward given to you, as you trust in the Lord. And so, again, if you're someone that's trusting in the Lord, then I mean, you should, I guess, expect some type of rewards for that, for trusting Him and things of that nature. And then I guess if you want to look at the opposite, what that looks like, then yeah, I mean, if you're somebody that's not trusting the Lord, then I mean, your rewards may not be that great. But you guys can go deeper about that. Here's Philippians 2:12. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." So, again, I feel like this was a good word to receive this morning. Saying to me again, as I obey and things of that nature, you know, not just in God's presence, but when I'm not in His presence, that's a good thing. Yeah, I don't have too much to to add to these, y'all. I'm just reading them for what they are. I mean, you know. So then I ended up coming across Matthew 2:12. And I came across that like a little bit after I came across again First Timothy 2:12. And at some point I started to think like I guess maybe all of the biblical books or whatever has a 2:12. So it's interesting that the ones that popped up first on Google was the ones that did, but hey, that's what happened with me, and these the ones that popped up when I looked up again Bible and 2:12. So as I had to scroll past all the ones talking about women don't teach da da da, and then ultimately I came across Matthew 2:12, and it says this: "And being warned warned of God, yeah, and being warned of God in a dream, that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way." We all know this, right, man? We're familiar with the three wise men and whatnot. And so it's obviously referring to them and how they were warned from God to not go back to Herod and whatnot and report things to him. And so they decided to heed that warning. And again, I mean, it stood out to me to share today. So, I mean, again, if we look at these verses thus far, it's rewarding us for trusting in the Lord, right? And then the second one is talking about that, again, in God's absence and whatnot, we're working out our own salvation with fear and trembling, and by obeying the Lord, right? And then this one is telling us that, again, the Lord will warn us, right? I guess in our times of need and things of that nature. So we should take heed to such warnings and things. That's what I'm receiving when I came across that verse this morning. But like I said, I mean, after all my getting ready to share with you guys First Timothy, 2:12, I ended up putting Second Timothy 2:12 for some reason. And when I came across this is what it says: "If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. And if we deny him, he will also deny us. So, ooh, that might be pulp or might be a warning. That warning that that other verse was telling us about. Like again, if we suffer, then I mean, hey, he is going to allow us to reign with him. I can't lie, man. I've been thinking a lot about that video, and it was talking about Mark of the Beast and talking about being beheaded and all those different things. And I just happened to watch it's like a period piece about Queen Elizabeth, I think it was. I think it was called Reign, the name of that show. And I was watching that series last week, just binge watching it, on my downtime and stuff. And they would always talk about like, I'll have your head, I'll have your head. And then ultimately, a few people got beheaded in the series and whatnot. And I mean, spoiler alert if anybody's never watched it, or maybe I shouldn't say, but well, obviously, okay, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it. The last episode, the queen that we have been following the whole time, she ended up being beheaded and whatnot. And it was interesting, the last line she said, even though I can't remember exactly verbatim the words, but she was like, she referenced her faith though, as she was laying her head down to be beheaded, which was interesting to see. She went strong, and whatnot. She went sad, but she went strong, and so that was something to just think about and whatnot. I don't know. Like I said, I hope and pray that I ain't got to be, I hope and pray that, again, pre-trib rapture, I'm among that group of people, but again, I am still praying my strength in the Lord, that if I am to be one of those ones that have to, choose and get in the line to be beheaded and things of that nature, like, again, I hope, I pray I'm bold and strong and whatnot. And I know that it can, I guess I kind of thought about that earlier this morning, in the midst of all my things I've been thinking about. And I was wondering, like, would I doubt, like, would I lay my head there and then have some doubt, and like, what would that mean, if I did, and things like that. But I mean, hey man, I guess we just shouldn't have to worry or be concerned too much about those things. I guess, again, those that the Lord has built up for that, he has built up. And so, again, it's better to suffer with him than to deny him. And I guess that's the juice, y'all. That's the juice. That's all I pretty much received from 2:12 this morning. Let me share with you guys the Bible verse of today, and that's 1 Samuel 2:2. And it says, "There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee. Neither is there any rock like our God." Friends, I hope y'all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. And there you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. I was trying to pull up the subscribe button and I'm pressing everything else. But hey, man, you guys can always check out brobrosbites.com. Matter of fact, man, I miss old Bro Bros, man. I was looking at some of his work this morning. I was taking a look back at my birthday trip that I took back in 2021 or 2 or whatever that was. But yeah, man, you guys can go ahead and subscribe if you would like to, and all that good stuff. Shout out to NJ, doing pretty good this morning. You did pretty good, kid. What's that in your mouth?
Just one of those sushi thingies.
Goodness gracious. But all right, good people, y'all have a wonderful Wednesday, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye.